Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of the Daily Strange Stories. I'm John Brown. Our lead story for today. Extreme weather, 49 dead in Eastern Cape's worst floods, 4 bodies of learners swept away go missing, including a girl who saw a snake after climbing a tree. On the 10th of June 2025, the Eastern Cape province of South Africa became the epicenter of a weather catastrophe, experiencing what officials are calling the worst floods in recent memory. Relentless rain, powerful winds, and devastating landslides combined to create a perfect storm of destruction, claiming the lives of at least 49 people and leaving countless others displaced and traumatized. The OR Tambo District Municipality was particularly hard hit, with reports indicating that the death toll could continue to rise as rescue teams worked tirelessly to recover bodies and search for those still missing. Among the deceased were several school children whose lives were tragically cut short when their scholar transport minibus was swept away by raging floodwaters. The story of the minibus taxi has become a symbol of the devastation wrought by the floods. The vehicle, carrying 13 children and 2 adults, was en route to Chumba Senior Secondary School when it encountered a flooded bridge near Mthatha. Despite the driver's attempts to navigate the treacherous conditions, the minibus was overwhelmed by the force of the water and swept away. The scene that followed was one of unimaginable horror. As the minibus was carried downstream, the children inside clung to each other in terror, their screams for help drowned out by the roar of the floodwaters. Onlookers watched helplessly from the riverbank, unable to intervene as the vehicle disappeared beneath the surface. Tragically, only 3 of the children survived the ordeal. They were found clinging to trees along the riverbank, exhausted and traumatized but alive. The bodies of 6 other children, along with the driver and conductor, were later recovered from the wreckage of the minibus. 4 children remain missing, their fate unknown. Among the stories of loss and heartbreak, one particular account has captured the hearts of the nation. One of the pupils, a young girl, managed to escape the sinking minibus and find refuge in a tree along the riverbank. As she clung to the branches, she cried out for help, her voice filled with desperation and fear. Onlookers on the riverbank watched in anguish, desperate to assist but unable to reach her due to the strong currents and rising water levels. As time passed, the girl's cries grew weaker, her strength failing as she battled against the elements. Then, a new terror emerged. As the girl clung to the tree, she spotted a snake slithering towards her through the floodwaters. Panic set in as she realized the danger she was in. She cried out that she could see a snake approaching her. In a desperate attempt to escape the reptile, the girl let go of the tree and was swept away by the relentless current. Her body not been recovered, and she is one of the 10 deceased learners who were in the minibus.
As soon as the disaster team came, they rescued those 3 people, but earlier on there were 4 people, and one of them, she tried to tell the onlookers. We were there, we witnessed her calling us, telling us that she is seeing a snake, and then she let go of the tree and she was swept away. We witnessed her, we saw her being swept away.
The mother of one of the missing children, a 14-year-old boy, expressed her relief at the recovery of her son's body, even as she grieved his loss. Nomahlube Mkhatshane said that her only hope was to find her son's body, knowing in her heart that he was gone. After hours of searching, divers emerged from the water holding his body, a moment that silenced onlookers and brought her to her knees. She asked rescue teams to turn his face toward her before confirming it was him. The floods have not only claimed lives but have also left a trail of destruction across the Eastern Cape. Homes have been washed away, infrastructure has been damaged, and thousands of people have been displaced from their homes. The small community of Dikaligni, near Mthatha, has been particularly devastated, with many residents losing everything they owned. Asongezon Tlabati, a 25-year-old resident of Dikaligni, recounted the harrowing experience of losing her 2 nephews, aged 6 and 8, in the floods. Their bodies were found in the mud at their home, while her mother and oldest nephew remained missing. Ntabati said she was awakened by a frantic call from her mother, who told her that the water was rising rapidly and had reached her house. Ntabati tried to call for help, but was told that there was nothing that could be done. Her mother's house was completely submerged before any assistance could arrive. Loiso Nokaingana, another resident of Dikaligni, described how he and his 49-year-old mother were trapped inside their house as the floodwaters rose. Nokaingana was forced to climb into the ceiling and break through the roof with a spade to escape. He was able to rescue his mother, and they were pulled to safety by neighbors. The Eastern Cape provincial government, led by Premier Oscar Mabuyane, has declared a state of disaster and has mobilized resources to assist affected communities. However, the scale of the devastation has overwhelmed local authorities, and national assistance has been requested. Mabuyane, who joined search and rescue teams in the field, expressed his shock and grief at the scale of the tragedy. He said that the number of fatalities could increase as the search continued and that many other parts of the province were affected by the rains, with roads impassable due to snow.
Indeed, it is with heavy heart that I address you during this difficult and painful time for our province. Over the past 2 days, as it has been a witness, we have experienced serious, relentless rains with strong winds, accompanied also with the landslide that we have observed that have caused some fatalities, with the devastation across communities, especially here in OR Tambo and Amatole district municipalities. 4 learners are still missing, that are still being looked for. Our rescue teams are on the ground. The rest of deceased people are citizens of different ages. Search and recovery operations are continuing across all affected areas, particularly within the OR Tambo District Municipality, where torrential rains over the recent days have caused devastating landslide and flooding, leaving hundreds of families displaced, as well as significant damage on critical infrastructure. As of now, as we are seated here, the stats has escalated to 49 as per the South African Police Services. So, as we said, the numbers are just escalating an hour after hour. So the situation is so bad on the ground.
The South African National Taxi Council, SANTACO, confirmed that the Scholar transport vehicle that was swept away was a 22-seater minibus affiliated with one of its members. SANTACO expressed its condolences to the families of the victims and pledged to support the search and rescue efforts. It has been revealed that, prior to the tragedy, the driver of the minibus contacted the vehicle owner, expressing his concerns about the overflowing river. The driver, assessing the situation at the bridge, deemed the water levels too dangerous to cross safely. He informed the owner that the vehicle appeared to be stuck and requested assistance to safely extract it from the precarious location. Tragically, before help could arrive, the bridge succumbed to the relentless pressure of the floodwaters and collapsed. The 22-seater minibus, carrying 13 school children, the conductor, and the driver, was swept away in the ensuing torrent, sealing their fate in a devastating and irreversible moment. Gift of the Givers, a South African-based humanitarian organization, has dispatched teams to the Eastern Cape to provide assistance to those affected by the floods. The organization is providing food, water, blankets, and other essential supplies to displaced residents. As the Eastern Cape grapples with the aftermath of this devastating weather event, the nation mourns the loss of life and rallies to support those who have been affected. The floods serve as a stark reminder of the power of nature and the importance of disaster preparedness and mitigation. The disaster has also raised questions about infrastructure development and land use planning in the Eastern Cape province. Critics have pointed out that many of the affected communities are located in flood-prone areas and that inadequate drainage systems have exacerbated the impact of the heavy rains. In the wake of the floods, there have been calls for a comprehensive review of disaster management policies and practices in South Africa, as well as increased investment in infrastructure and community resilience. Thank you for watching this news video. We'd love to hear what you think about this story, so please leave your comments below. We read them all and appreciate your insights. Join us again in our next strange story. Until then, goodbye.